This month's NEXGEN Automotive Tip of the Month deals with diesel. Do you want to prevent repeat fuel system failures? Before replacing any component for a drivability problem, better test the fuel first. These parts can be damaged by fuel quality or contamination problems. A good visual inspection may be required of each component. DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, contamination requires letting the removed parts sit to see if crystallization materializes. Crank but no start, no crank due to hydraulic engine lock, long crank, hard start, misfire, rough idle, knocking, low or no power, exhaust smoke, low or slow to build high fuel pressure, and assorted codes are all symptomatic of fuel contamination. This test kit from Fuel Pro tests gasoline, diesel, and DEF. At NEXGEN, we like it, not only because it works, but also because of its packaging. It's easy to grab and perform a fuel test. The following testing was performed in the parking lot on this truck's tailgate. The first step is to obtain a fuel sample. This test identifies if we're working with diesel fuel of the correct type, or if we're working with diesel fuel at all. The best place to get a sample is at the water drain on the fuel filter housing. A high-quality primary fuel filter should stop most water and contamination, but even a high-quality filter, if exposed to various contaminants, compounds, and extended service intervals, may allow some system-damaging items to pass. While DEF works well when injected into the exhaust, if it gets into the fuel system, it can do damage to critical components. If the water drain doesn't function, get your sample on the tank side of the primary fuel filter. Be sure to clean the water drain before attempting to obtain a fuel sample here. After getting the sample, wait a few minutes for the fuel to stabilize. You're looking for cloudy fuel, particles like dirt, metal, or rust, and if the fuel is the wrong color. Step 2. You must exercise caution while using the hydrometer. You need to ensure that you're using the correct one for the fuel you're testing. In this case, diesel. To the right is an image of the diesel probe submerged in gasoline. It won't flow. Also, the hydrometer is a delicate instrument. Step 3. There are two different scales used on the hydrometer. One is API gravity and the other is specific gravity. We'll read API gravity and then convert it to specific gravity. Our sample reads 34. If the temperature is not around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, you need to make a correction in order to get accurate results. 34 converts to 0.855. This is winter blend fuel. The lower the API gravity, higher specific gravity number, the more power and better fuel economy the fuel delivers. If the fuel does not test in the range shown, it's not diesel fuel. Fuel varies slightly from region to region, but when testing fuel at the NEXGEN training headquarters in Ohio, we see summer numbers of 32 to 35 API, and winter blend test results show 35 to 38. Type 1 diesel tests no higher than 42. Step 4. This diesel test fluid tests for water, DEF, or any other non-petroleum liquid that may have contaminated the fuel. Here, we see that the test fluid forms a ball and sinks to the bottom of the test cylinder. It won't mix with diesel fuel. Even if it's shaken, it'll stay separated. This fuel is pure. If there is non-petroleum liquid contamination, the test fluid will mix with it. This is what it looks like when we have contaminated fuel. In these images provided to us by Motorcraft, we can see the damage that contaminated fuel causes. How long will the new parts last if the fuel issue isn't addressed and the system isn't cleaned to like-new conditions? So that brings us back to the original question. Do you want to prevent repeat fuel system failures? Use OEM quality parts and give them the proper environment to work in. It starts with a good fuel test on any diesel drivability problem. Listen to Tom Rake.
Now guys, what we're saying here is part of no start on any diesel is looking at the fuel. If you have injectors that failed, a pump that failed, what most likely caused it? Fuel. If you don't check the fuel, what are you doing to the customer? So this will show us water, it'll show us improper fuel, it'll show us a cloud point separation.
Diesel engines and how they burn fuel are totally different from that of gasoline. At NEXGEN, we offer the training you need to enter the diesel world. And if you're currently a diesel tech, we provide the training necessary to stay up to date. NEXGEN Training, automotive heavy-duty truck training for the next generation and beyond.